123 123
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now the floor for question is open.
Good afternoon. A question from Telesur.
委内瑞拉南方电视台提问：委内瑞拉地震后，中方一直是一个主要的赈灾的支持者。近期，中国政府的援助专机载着一些设备和应急物资抵达委内瑞拉。 外交部可否介绍一下中国的救援总体的情况，包括政府的，还有在委的中资企业和华侨的所做的贡献，以及下一步还有哪些计划提供新的支持和人道主义物资援助。
China is closely following the disaster in Venezuela. President Xi Jinping has sent a message of condolences to the acting President Rodriguez. Chinese government will, on the basis of previous cash assistance, to offer urgent grant of 100 million RMB. Chinese Red Cross also provided urgent cash assistance of $300,000 to Venezuela Red Cross yesterday. The first batch of 80 tons of assistance supplies, including the water purifiers, carpet, also has arrived in Venezuela. China also provided satellite images of the disaster-affected region. Chinese enterprises there and Chinese communities have also provided food and apparatus. China is also ready to provide more support in light of the developments. Next one.
总台华语中心记者提问：王毅外长即将结束。
As Foreign Minister Wang Yi is about to conclude his visit to Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway, can you brief us on the trip? Foreign Minister Wang Yi, from July 2nd to 8th, visited Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and Norway. During the trip, he held talks with the 4 foreign ministers and have meetings with King Frederik X of Denmark, Swedish Prime Minister Kristersson, Finnish President Stubb, and Norwegian Prime Minister. They had candid, in-depth, and constructive exchange of views and reached many common understandings on promoting the development of bilateral ties between China and the 4 countries in the new era. The visit carries forward the legacy of friendship. These 4 nations visited by Foreign Minister Wang Yi are among the first European countries to recognize and establish diplomatic ties with China. China has a profound history of friendly exchange with them. For example, Denmark is the first country to launch a green transition cooperation mechanism with China, and Denmark is China's comprehensive strategic partner. Sweden is the first Western nation to establish diplomatic ties with the PRC, and today remains China's top trading partner in Northern Europe. Finland is the first Western country to sign intergovernmental trade agreement with China, and 2 sides now enjoy a future-oriented new type cooperative partnership. Norway was among the first countries to recognize China's market economy status. We agree that the value of decades of exchange is that the 2 sides always treat each other with respect and equality and accommodate each other's core interests and major concerns. The 4 countries are committed to the One China policy for stronger political foundation of bilateral ties. The 2 sides agree to further implement the important common understandings reached between President Xi Jinping and leaders of the 4 countries, carry forward traditional friendship, maintain high-level exchanges, step up strategic communication, expand dialogue and cooperation in various sectors and between various departments, and strive for new development. The visit deepens mutual trust. The 4 countries are important nations in Europe. We agree that China and Europe should foster a correct perception of each other, maintain dialogue and cooperation as the mainstream, and make sure that differences are appropriately placed in bilateral relations. The China-Europe economic and trade cooperation has been fruitful over the decades, and the current economic and trade ties need to be viewed in a more comprehensive, objective, and positive light. Maintain and expand two-way opening up and do more for upward balance rather than do less for downward balance. The European side recognizes its needs to enhance its own competitiveness. Foreign Minister Wang Yi welcomed businesses from the 4 countries to come to the fitness club of the Chinese market to build their strengths, sharing the opportunities offered by China's mega market, complete industrial chains, and diversified application scenarios. The 4 countries welcomed more constructive economic and trade dialogues between China and Europe and supported the effort of properly handling economic and trade frictions, seeking win-win solutions, and achieving substantial outcomes. The 4 countries welcome greater people-to-people exchanges between the 2 sides and the efforts of deepening exchange at all levels and in various fields. so as to consolidate friendship and public support. The visit expands cooperation. Green and low-carbon development is a shared pursuit of China and the four countries. The concept of green is gold, put forth by President Xi Jinping, was highly recognized and appreciated by the four countries. Green has become an important underlying feature of the bilateral cooperation in the new era. The two sides agreed to take green cooperation as a leading area, forge synergy in policy coordination, complementary industries, multilateral governance, and other areas, and jointly inject strong impetus into the global green transition. The four countries are a powerhouse for science and tech innovation. Foreign Minister Wang Yi welcomed companies from both sides to leverage their innovation advantages and pool strengths for coordinated innovation so as to deliver more benefits for peoples. Both China and the four countries pay high attention to the development and governance of AI. The two sides agreed to strengthen dialogue on global AI governance, explore rules on international governance, and strive for more benefits of AI for humanity based on the principles of people-centered approach, and so on. The visit builds consensus. Both China and the four countries uphold multilateralism and the international rule of law and advocate the central role of the UN in the international affairs. The two sides agreed to strengthen multilateral communication and coordination, safeguard the authority and role of the UN, and work for a more just, equitable global governance system. The two sides had an in-depth exchange of views on international and regional issues of mutual interest. Foreign Minister Wang Yi reaffirmed the principled position on Ukraine crisis and emphasized that China has always followed the fundamental guidance of the 4 points about what must be done put forth by President Xi, and has been actively promoting the political settlement of the crisis. China's position is objective, just, and consistent. It takes into full consideration the legitimate security concerns of all parties, including that of Europe, and supports all efforts conducive to peaceful settlement. Both China and the four countries agree that in a world of chaos and turbulence, the two sides should carry forward the traditional friendship, keep pace with the times, keep a future-oriented approach, address the uncertainty of the world by the stability of the bilateral relations, and jointly seize the opportunity and jointly contribute to world peace and stability and global development and prosperity. Next one, please. It is reported that the Japan Coast Guard claimed on July 3rd that at around 11 a.m. it detected a Chinese maritime survey vessel entering the EEZ near Okinawa's Kumi Island, southwestern Japan, and extending a wire into the sea. Was China's comment on that? Diaoyudao and its affiliated islands have always been part of China's territory. It is fully within China's sovereign rights to have Chinese research vessels carrying out activities in the adjacent waters of Diaoyudao, which are legitimate, lawful, and beyond reproach. China firmly opposes Japan's disruption in the legitimate activity of Chinese research vessels and has launched serious protests with the Japanese side. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人申智慧市记者提问。今年是联合国海洋法。
Today marks the 30th anniversary of China's ratification of UNCLOS. How does China see the convention's role? What was China's contribution to it? UNCLOS is a key outcome of the Third UN Conference on the Law of the Sea held between 1973 and 1982. The convention, along with other international treaties and customary international law, constituted the basic legal framework of modern international maritime law. Its entry into force and implementation is conducive to maintaining a fair and just international maritime order and fostering a more just and equitable global governance architecture. The UNCLOS negotiations were the first major international legislative process China took part in after the restoration of its lawful seat at the UN. China participated in the entire process of the Third Conference and contributed, along with fellow developing countries, to the birth of the convention. China was one of the first countries that signed UNCLOS and became a state party on July 7, 1996. Over the past 30 years, China has exercised its rights and fulfilled its obligations under the convention in good faith. It has been a strong advocate for the spirit of multilateralism embodied by the convention and has supported the effective operation of the 3 international institutions established in accordance with UNCLOS. It has worked with various parties to safeguard maritime peace and security, promote sustainable development, strengthen marine scientific research and environmental protection, and facilitate exchange and cooperation, thus contributing to improving global maritime governance and advancing the welfare of all humanity. 法新社有几个外国政府批评了中国昨天的导弹试射。像所罗门群岛和新西兰等南太国家也说，他们不希望看到在南太有这样的试验。这些国家都担心在他们领土附近有这样的试验，中方如何回应？
试射活动是
This test launch is Chinese military routine military training activities and is not directed at any specific country or target. We have notified Solomon Island and other South Pacific Island countries prior to the launch. It is consistent with international law and common practices. Let me stress that China is committed to the path of peaceful development and upholds the nuclear strategy that focuses on self-defense, keeps its nuclear power at the minimum level required by national security. The relevant country should not read too much about it. Next one, please.
Another question from Telesur.
委内瑞拉南方电视台，委内瑞拉的地震为这个国家带来了双重的挑战。政府在努力，拯救生命，并且提供灾后的重建，但是人道主义行动资金方面，还有一些进口必需品方面，仍在面临困难。美方暂时放松了一些制裁措施，来便于人道主义援助开展，但是还是有一些限制措施，而且有一些资产还处于被冻结的状态。中方对于这些灾后救援的措施有何评论？尤其是就在几个月前，美方对委内瑞拉采取了军事行动，并且强行绑架了马杜罗总统。
国际法义。
China always opposes illicit unilateral sanctions without the basis of international law. We call on the United States to, at an early date, comprehensively remove its sanctions on Venezuela and create favorable conditions for the reconstruction after the earthquake.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any other questions?
那好，今天的记。
This is all for today's press conference. Thank you for coming.